Man, my book needs some spicing up. They told me to come to this place, but is this the right location? This hut looks a little too spirally. Oh well, here goes nothing.
Welcome, Matthew Donald Hall, son of Donald Ray Hall Jr., author of 3 self-published books with the 4th on the way. I have many names, child, but most call me Kristalina, the Calamitous. What brings you to my enchanted and overgrown forest?
This isn't a forest. This is right by a parking garage on 11th.
Oh, the woods of skyscrapers and the branches of streets are just as foresty as any non-urban jungle. Plus, I can afford what I can afford, kid.
Right. Hey, didn't you work at the Writ theme park before?
It was 3,000 generations ago I worked at the theme park.
It was last week!
But they told me to look elsewhere for monetary compensation due to my workshop of wonders accidentally selling someone foxglove potion, one that, let's say, took their life in another direction. So I now reside here in my twisty and spirally hut in the enchanted urban forest.
Okay.
Did you want a foxglove potion?
No, I'm good. I don't feel that poorly about my writing.
But something in your written word troubles you, Mr. Donald, does it not? Is that why you are here?
I have no idea why I'm here. I'm only slightly terrified at this point.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet? But we'll incinerate that bridge when we come to it. What does your book require?
Well, I wrote this epic fantasy story called Spell Shocked, but I think it needs something more to it. Like, it doesn't feel epic enough, you know?
May I take a quick peek at this manuscript of yours?
Sure, here you go, and...
That was an adventurous and gripping fantasy epic, child. I particularly like the climax with the dragons that shoot lasers from their mouths.
Wait, you read it already? Oh, wait, you're magic. Never mind. So, can you help me or not?
I don't see what the problem is, my slimy Nagamorph friend. This is delightfully quaint.
First off, Nagamorphs are bunnies. And second off, that's the problem. I don't want it to be quaint. I want it to be epic.
Such a typical human man, always seeking unnecessary enlargement. Oh, if you insist, give me your spell-shocked manuscript, son of Donald.
Okay.
Swibbly, swabbly, gobbly, gluff, raven's eye and teddy bear fluff. Cockatiel feathers and old cowboy leathers, lawyers' briefcases, and dandelion faces.
Every moment I regret this further.
Dibbly dabbly dudley fix this delightfully quaint fantasy book. Aha! It is finished, O regretful one.
How did you hear? Never mind, magic.
Now, thanks to my unproprietous magic, your book Spell Shocked has become Spells of the Undying Shocked Lands of the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Whoa.
And the word count has redoublified from 50,000 to 500 million, and the plot lines and characters have expanded tremendously.
Whoa, there's more characters in the story than the Japanese alphabet. Thanks, Kristalina.
No problem, daughter of Barbara. Tell your friends to come visit me. I could use more ingredients for my potions.
That's okay. Bye. Wait, what happened to the street? This door just leads to your shop again.
That's right. You can never leave. Ever! You are my prisoner for eternity! JK, there's the parking lot again. You can go now.
Okay. I'm not gonna sleep for a week. This manuscript is so heavy now. Welcome, fellow nerds, to another episode of the Writ, the show that you only listen to when you got absolutely nothing to do. Even then we bore you to tears, don't we?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I quite enjoy it.
Oh, well, thanks. Sometimes some people find us interesting. We got a selective audience. So, it's kind of funny. So, there's a bit of a history to this episode. First off, we recorded this on our own beforehand. Then there was a technical issue. We had to record it again. But before we did that, I mentioned in the last episode that we did, the proper treatment of grief, that I had previously recorded an episode with you. But it turns out that's the one we lost, so...
These things do happen.
So, now we are recording this after that one, so...
Here we are, people.
It's a mess, even though it ends up being linear, in a way. That all these episodes are recorded one after another, but I keep saying that it's not, so I don't know. Nah. Anyways.
We do what we have to.
Alright, so yes. I'm Matt Donald, and this is, of course, recurring guest co-host Christina Eilert.
I'm breaking the rules of the names.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, Yeah, we could call you Lee, I guess.
It's just, nobody calls me Christina Lee. It's just that stereotypical, like, you're in trouble by your parents thing.
Christina Lee Eilert. Like, yeah, I get that. But how are you today?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. We had a big week last week. We went to a theme park.
We did. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, I rode every roller coaster.
You did. We were impressed.
I've never done that before. Admittedly, I had my eyes closed throughout the entirety of the last one,
But you did it.
I did.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do things that kind of freak us out, but as long as you do it anyway, that's what really matters.
Yeah, I just feel so good now. I could climb a mountain. I mean,
we're not going to.
I'm not. No, why would I?
Who are we kidding? We're not that fit of people.
I mean, you probably more so than I am.
I just look at it. It's like the wolf in sheep's clothing. It's the fat girl and the skinny girl's clothing.
Oh, I'm just a fat girl in a fat girl's clothing. Okay, so as we mentioned in the last episode, Matt Seibert is going to be taking a bit of a break because he's got stuff to take care of in light of his father's tragic passing. So we're going to do part 2 of our our set of why is blank so hard to write. But then after this, Christine and I are going to do, I think, 1 or 2 new ones. And then after that, Matt David comes back, I should say. And then we'll go back to the rest of the set. So,
which would be wonderful.
Yes. It's always nice to get back into the swing of things after all this cluster F.
I mean, as much as I love to be the guest co-host,
right.
I do love Matt, and
right.
We'd love to see him come back.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's doing okay. We're all kind of coping, but it's been a good couple weeks. Bad couple weeks, but it's been a good last week for us to cope with it. We've done a lot of refreshing stuff. Like we went to a baseball game. That was nice. What are you smiling about?
Oh, I'm just glad that you're doing stuff and everybody gets to see him, even though it's under terrible, terrible circumstances.
Yeah,
it's good to see a good friend.
He's leaving soon. He's leaving on Tuesday, as a heads up.
Oh, well, good to know.
Okay. Not that matters to the listeners because it's going to be premiered on Wednesday. But
he will already be departed. Not that way, but
yeah, hopefully not that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Safe travels to Matt.
Anyways, all right. So next up on our set that we had. Hello.
Hi, dog.
I might leave this in.
We do have the pets in this house.
Yes, we do. Hi, Henry.
This is our black lab. Well, I shouldn't say our. I feel like he's mine.
He's also not really a black lab either. So none of that was right. No.
Black lab mix.
He's like a mutt with some black lab, some shepherd, some healer.
He's just adorable.
He's very adorable. He's got great ears. He's like a good size. Anyways, so this time we're talking about romance.
Fitting that we have a man and a woman. I mean, we have never been romantically involved.
Nope, and you are married.
Just to satisfy that, listener's question: have Matt and Christine ever been romantically involved?
Nope.
I think we had a crush on each other when we were younger.
At different times, but that's okay. You have a very wonderful husband. And I can't imagine you with anyone else, least of all me. So, but that's okay. All right. So we're talking about romance, and since, like I said, you are married, you have some expertise. At least
maybe
more so than me.
I don't know if I'm a romantical person, but
I mean, we've all got some, except for aromantic people, I guess. There's actually the whole term of it. But anyway, so we're talking about romance. It's very difficult to write. It's often can be very cheesy. It can be very cringeworthy. Yeah. Sometimes it's like the worst elements of something. Sometimes it's the best.
Just depends.
Yep, it depends on how it's written. So I guess first off, we're going to talk about why is it so hard to write? How do you take it to how do you take it beyond?
Oh, I thought you were going to say great beyond.
I thought I was going to, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
You could.
But then it makes it seem like how do you take it to great beyond means like how do you kill it?
Oh, well, we don't want to do that. We want to make it better.
So, all right. So I guess I'll go first. We can go back and forth though. Who goes first? For me, romance along with comedy is one of the hardest genres to. I wrote the wrong right here in the notes, listeners.
Nobody's perfect, not us.
Okay, and I'm going to leave this in just so people know that I'm not perfect. They don't put me on some pedestal, some god.
Don't do it.
No, okay. I'm still mortal. Romance, along with comedy, is one of the hardest genres to write, simply because when it doesn't work, it flounders so much more than the other elements. I think it's a mixture of overdone cliches, overly sappy and cringy bits, and lack of chemistry that can really ruin a romance or romantic subplot. Also, sometimes the characters are destructive towards each other or themselves due to the writer thinking that such a thing is romantic and therefore accidentally writing a toxic relationship.
Oh, totally. We've seen it a lot.
Oh yeah. I know there's there's other examples than Twilight, but that's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
I mean, 50 Shades of Grey, too, which also started as Twilight fan fiction.
I would say, but I've never seen 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, I've never seen or read it, but I've heard.
That's what we hear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct us if we're wrong, listeners.
But think about the relationships in fiction that you like, and see if the couple brings the best out of each other, and if they're visibly happier around each other. If they are, then it's a good relationship, and if you're wanting a good relationship to write about, you should strive towards something like that. I mean, if they're not good toward each other, unless you want to aim for a relationship like that, maybe avoid writing it, you know?
Absolutely. Totally agree. I mean, I think for me, it's that romance can be hard to write simply because it feels ripped off.
Right.
It feels like one giant stereotype. Either you're going somewhere like very, quote, Romeo and Juliet, or, which I think we talked about before, like, is that really a romance?
No,
Not
I mean,
really.
it's a romance, but it's not a good one.
No, or maybe you're doing something that could barely be considered a romance, which I guess would be maybe Romeo and Juliet.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, some people cite it as, like, the great epic romance. It was never, not only is it not, it was never intended to be. Shakespeare wrote it as, like, a satire of youthful romance, because they're teenagers that just had huge crushes that went too far.
And it's so tragic. I mean, it's just like everybody's dying, nobody's happy, like...
Where would Romeo be without Juliet?
Alive.
Well, alive,
yeah.
for starters, yeah.
So, to me, like, going that beyond, it would be avoiding the existing tropes. It's a minefield of cliches and things that have already been used. But avoiding these things that are overused is hard.
Right.
But it's also necessary. So, with that delicate line that you have to walk, it's just because a lot of us can connect to those tried and true romantic ideas and methods. I mean, I adore the princes and princesses of, like, Disney.
Right.
The rescued and the rescuer type of theme.
But not the Rescuers Disney movies. I made that joke before, too. I'm going to make it again.
Not that specific. I've never even seen that movie either.
I mean, there is a good romance in it, though. The two mice, they're cute together.
I mean, it needs to be done with enough originality to be interesting.
Right.
I mean, unless it's going to be a parody of itself. But that's another thing entirely.
Exactly.
You know, the writer can sprinkle in traditional tropes effectively, but let's add a twist to it.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, well that sounds good. That it is definitely difficult to write, but there are definitely ways to do it. You just gotta put the effort, you know, just like a real romance.
Right. Exactly.
So what are specific ways though to improve the romantic writing? How about you go first for this?
Okay, I will go first. Ladies first.
Yes.
If we're trying to write a romance novel, write it.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I kind of guiltily have somewhat of an attraction to romance novels. Like the flowing hair, the dresses barely hanging on by a thread.
Ooh, scandal.
I know. You could do it. I think the better question here is, can't we do better? Like, I was looking around the internet for some, oh my gosh, cringeworthy romance tropes, and they definitely, like, slipped over into the comedic area for me. Like, I was kind of laughing my butt off. How do we avoid making our readers believe that we don't have a romantic, original idea bone in our body? I think the best thing that we could, at least I could recommend, would be writing your own tutorial. Maybe it's not something that you publish online for everybody to criticize. I think that's all of our, as writers' biggest fears. But it could be a good exercise to write your own manual on how to take these traditions and make them your own.
Right.
Make them original. I think it makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should do something like that.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of emulation. It's something I learned to do extensively during my undergrad in creative writing.
Right.
Take something you find successful in a romantic sense by another writer or an author, make it your own.
Exactly.
After all, a lot of the best art is stolen.
Yes. Hence the what will we rip off part of the show.
Exactly. I mean, it works. So you can be a creative thief. Just take the time to put your own angles on it. So go ahead, do it. Deconstruct, subvert. You can do it.
Subvert expectations, but not in like the way that gets people upset. Like,
maybe don't go crazy with it.
I don't know if you've watched. You're watching Game of Thrones, right?
I am. I've had no spoilers. I haven't seen the last season.
Well,
yet.
I've just heard people are upset with it, and one of the things is like it subverts expectations just to subvert expectations. It doesn't do it in like a way that's like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say.
Well, then you're just going to irritate people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. Like if there's no reason behind it, but I don't know. For romance, though, I guess it could be kind of fun to subvert expectation.
It can. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, for me, chemistry is key in writing romance and improving romantic writing. When I was younger, I used to write romance as this one character nervous around the other because they loved them and didn't know how to tell them or even act around them. Like, I wrote this way because that's how I felt. But as I get older, I know that's not a romance. That's just a crush, and not a particularly good one. Not a particularly healthy one.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Like, chemistry is when two people are genuinely and visibly happier around each other, laughing at each other's jokes, smiling and staring at each other when the other isn't looking, and bringing the best out of each other. I saw this, what was this meme, I guess? Or it was like a Reddit post with an image, a Reddit conversation, and it had, like, it was that part in Tangled when Rapunzel's looking up towards the lights before they come in, and Flynn is just looking lovingly at her. And then one of the comments was, I long for a guy. Why do guys not look at me the way that Flynn looks at Rapunzel? And then someone pointed out, because when they do, you're not looking like Rapunzel.
I just settle for somebody looking at me the way that I look at food.
That's pretty good. I'm trying to think. An example that's not my bird Penny. May rest in peace. I don't know, the way I look at like a good dinosaur painting or something.
There you go.
Someone asked me like if I was into dinosaurs in that way. I'm like, dude, I like dinosaurs, but I'm not gonna have sex with them.
Oh God, who is this?
Someone at my geek meetup, and they were joking, but I'm like,
why do we have to go there?
Yeah, just I can like something without it being sexual.
I mean, yes.
Okay. Anyways. But it's hard. But writing this kind of romance, it's hard to really know how it works unless you've experienced it. But in case you're like me and live alone in your mom's basement and have no friends,
hey, I'm right here.
You're not a friend, and you know it.
Aww.
No, you're just taking advantage of me.
Cry my LaCroix over here.
You're just taking advantage of me. Nah, that's fine. You're a good friend.
Yes, I just come over to pet your dog.
Oh, I mean, he's a cute, good dog to pet. Yeah. So. Anyways, but you have like analyze fictional relationships and see how you can emulate the better ones. That's a good tip, I think.
I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
I mean, even for people that have been in romantic relationships, I mean, I haven't experienced every type of romantic experience myself, so right. I may look to another just to see what it's like and how to describe that. Right.
No, I think that's good. Like I've only been really in one, and it wasn't really that long, but it was okay. But like I've learned a lot from it and from stuff since, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, and I think if you could, I mean, you can draw from, like, for example, our friendship. I think you could draw from the things that are successful or unsuccessful, even in interpersonal relationships that aren't sexual or romantic.
Yeah, like more platonic ones.
And you could draw those and put those into a romantic relationship, too.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Well, because, like, there's a fine line. It's a spectrum, I guess.
Exactly.
Between, I don't know this guy, to, I want to marry and have 7 kids with this guy.
A little excessive, but sure.
I know. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum.
True.
So. Alright.
Well,
so,
on that note.
Yes. While good, healthy relationships are always nice, sometimes people like bad or dysfunctional ones because they're more gripping. How would you write these? For me, like, if the relationship is bad enough, I think the best thing to remember is to somehow, whether subtly or directly, let the readers know that this isn't a relationship they should strive for. Too often, relationships that are bad or destructive in fiction are treated like epic, true romance.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, or
Twilight.
Bella and Edward. And that's a trap you definitely want to avoid. But if you have a couple that has problems, as all couples do, but they make do, and then those are better relationships for readers to emulate in their own lives. But if you have a couple that is destructive, and it's done purely for the gripping drama of the narrative, that's good too. But just make sure it's obvious that this isn't something the reader should want. Like, show that the person isn't happy in it, and that they could do better. Like, people like to read drama, but there's a fine line between what's good and what readers should emulate, you know? Honestly, I'm really bad at this, as too often as I fell in the trap of making my characters good people unless they're villains. I mean, some of my characters are kind of worse than others, even though they're still on the quote-unquote good side, but while it's admirable to a degree, it also sometimes doesn't make things very interesting.
Absolutely. People need to be, I think, more well-rounded.
Yeah. Like, my characters aren't perfect. They all have flaws, but, like, I do fall in the trap, but they all kind of mean well.
Yeah.
So...
Well, take after the author.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think I mean well, but...
I mean, nothing's perfect. Like, not real-life people. I mean, I try to draw on personal experience, but I think, well, I've since been corrected, but originally I said I was the only married person on the Writ, but
yeah, well, the other Christina that's been on here is married, but okay, steal her thunder.
sometimes thunder is stolen. Sorry, Christina.
All right.
And my marriage, while mostly wholesome, doesn't play out like the beginning of Titanic.
No sex in a car. No nude sketches.
I mean, that sounds kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, who would do what, though?
I feel like I'd probably be the one drawing him as my French girl.
Yeah, and he'd have the heart of the sea and nothing else.
It'd be lovely. He's just a more curvaceous woman than I am, you know?
I imagine him in that position, too.
I think it'd be really cute.
Yeah,
it could work.
Yeah, people would dig it.
I mean, sometimes our marriage, it looks more like the end of it. You know, I'm
Right.
hanging on to the board, or he's hanging onto the board, not to be sexist here, but somebody's hanging onto the board for dear life.
And then one of them's going to knock the other down.
Right?
Walk the plank. No.
I mean, taking the real life experiences and dramas from our own life, if it can be applicable, you know, if you've lived these dysfunctions, it's something that you can do. Every relationship has them. It all just depends on how big or how intense they can get.
Right.
The big pitfall I've come across with this technique is that I wrote a very real life experience for a peer to critique group.
Right.
And I was actually accused of being altogether too far-fetched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck, people?
Reality is sometimes unrealistic to people.
Yeah, it's too real, like, for real life. I don't know. But it can lead to too much emotional attachment on the part of the author, so watch out.
Right.
It happened to me. It can lead to a little too much defensive posturing and too little acceptance and positive editing.
Right.
For me, dysfunction is often more entertaining, and it can be more relatable than real-life fairy tale types.
Yes.
So I've drawn inspiration for these from binge-watching, like, almost even, like, true crime type of TV shows, which I guess is kind of creepy.
That is kind of creepy.
But it does happen.
Dig it.
And we all have our own interests, so
Right.
That's a real go-to for me. I mean, anything is possible, but it comes down to it's still got to be relatable.
Right. I think I mentioned this last time we recorded, but now I'm going to say it again. So, in my books, there's a couple... these two characters, I won't say who they are for fear of spoilers, but you know, at first it's all pretty nice, and they have like cute nicknames for each other, and they do this cute little handshake greeting, but as the books go on, they start having some problems. Like they work through them because that's what makes them who they are. Like in book 3, the main character and his best friend, I guess spoiler alert, I should just let people know, just because it's hard to not go into details. But the main character, Cortan, and his best friend, Bellar. Bellar is the one in the relationship with Quinn, who is the alpha commander of the Laurasia Corps. And the problem is, in the 3rd book, Quinn and Cortan get at odds with each other, and it gets really, really bad. Like, they are... and how they should deal with this situation where so many lives are on the line. And Quinn wants to do one thing, Cortan wants to do another, and then they both... And it drives Bellar insane to see the two most important people / dinosaurs that he cares about at odds with one another. And so part of their relationship is trying to figure out, how do we make this work? So what's the compromise?
I love the people / dinosaur comment.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, I mean, they're not technically people. I think I try to avoid using the word people as much as possible in Mega's book. I think I've slipped through once or twice. I think I was looking back at one of the books. I was like, oh, whoa, I said people there. Whoops.
You're like, uh-oh.
I mean, people's not necessarily human beings like Homo sapiens. It's a concept, I think, of like a group of people. I should not define words by the word.
It's just people-y, you know? People.
Yeah, people, noun, a people-y people. But yeah, so like I try to that's what keeps them interesting. Like, it doesn't just because they end up together doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be, you know, roses and sunny and calm seas and such the whole way through, even if it does work out.
Well, it's definitely not realistic, and it's not going to be interesting for the readers if everything is perfect all the time.
Right.
So.
But in terms of other couples, not necessarily ones in my book specifically, but other ones, what are our favorite couples in fiction? I got a text. Never mind. I'm leaving this in. I'm not leaving this in. We'll find out. Anyway.
We'll find out later.
All right. So since I went first last minute, you go first. What are your favorite couples? Who are your favorite couples?
So, all right. This is the part where a famous podcast star, you know, such as myself, dramatic pause for laughter here.
Yeah. Well, I like to think it's more like, ooh, yeah. It's like
I like that too.
You are famous. Yeah.
We can clap too, you know. I get a little less humble and a little more snobby fangirl.
Okay.
So, fair warning. I have been reading the Outlander series since way before it became famous, and I just adore Jamie and Claire.
Right.
I think I'm allowed to curse on the show a little bit.
A little bit. Anything that's on a Friends episode is fine.
Yes, been through some serious butt together and come through it.
Serious butt.
Time travel, murder, cross-continental hijinks. It's a couple I can follow through all kinds of nonsense. But in all truth, Gabaldon really makes it seem like these characters going through is totally plausible.
Right.
I think that makes their romance even stronger for me, is just the fact that I've fallen in love with both of the people exclusively,
right.
if not romantically. Like, I love both of the characters. They're great
right.
people.
And so it's always nice to see them together.
Yeah. And like you said, they make each other better, even though they've gone through some betrayals, they've come through it.
Right.
I don't know. I could go on forever. But, I mean, I'm a huge fan of them, and I have a huge crush on Jamie. My husband and I actually shamefully or non-shamefully, sorry not sorry kind of thing here, we have a butt rating system based on the very real life Scottish bum of Sam Hagen.
Is it good?
It's impeccable.
It's
yes.
impeccable.
We were watching Spartacus, which of course is another like kind of graphic naked people show.
Graphic naked
recently.
people show.
And we're comparing him to all the characters in that show to Sam.
Okay. All the different butts.
Jake's very
toned?
Is that like a Sam butt? It is. He has a very toned butt, but it's not like bodybuilder, toned.
It's still relatable.
It's still like a normal human person.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but I digress. The perseverance and sheer amount of love that these two people have, even in the smallest moments that these characters show, it makes me swoon.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, indeed. It's nice to have like a little sound effect, right? For me, I think some of my favorite couples are one, Jim and Pam from The Office, because they're just so cute and likable.
They are.
And they're very, very happy to each other. It's so weird to imagine those actors not together.
It is, yeah. Well, they're so wholesome.
Yeah, like what is? I forget his name. I know her name's Jenna Fisher, but it's like I know it before. He just directed A Quiet Place and starred in it too.
I have no idea.
John Krasinski, that's his name. Okay, I don't know how that came to me, but yeah, it's just they're married to other people. Like John Krasinski's married to Emily Blunt. So,
but that's the thing. When they're doing the screenings to cast these actors, they have to see, like they did it in Outlander too, what their chemistry is going to be like.
Right, because that makes or breaks it. Like,
but it's so interesting. Like, wouldn't that be awkward for you? Like being a married person.
Yeah,
like,
and then seeing Like,
let's see how your chemistry is with this other random person.
Well, I guess both of them know it's their job.
Yeah.
So and they can have fun with it. Like they can still be friends. Like even and like so, but. So Jim and Pam in The Office, they're so cute and likable. I also, from another sitcom, Chandler and Monica from Friends.
Bing!
Yes. Wait, is this a cheap plug for Friends?
I mean, who doesn't like... If you don't like Friends, get out of here.
They keep wanting to remove it from Netflix, but the outcry is always like, no! They think, like, the people... Like, the percentage of people who have Netflix specifically for Friends is, like... It's an insane number. It's, like, 40%.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they have to keep it on there.
I mean, in all defense, we've probably seen... I mean, I've seen it at least 4 times through. You've definitely got me beat.
Right. I don't know about every episode 4 times through. There's a few, some of the sadder ones I've only seen like once. So. But Chandler and Monica are a great example of a couple in a sitcom that doesn't have the constant will they or won't they shtick, and it's still interesting. Like, they get together, they have some issues, but they stay together throughout the entire thing. Like, they never break up, and they're nice.
But the Rachel Ross thing can... I mean, even for people like us that like the show, we're kind of like, ugh. Really?
Get over it already. Just kiss or don't kiss.
Figure it out.
Like, and stick to it. You guys are so bad to each other. Like,
some of the stuff they say and do is so evil. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Let's be more like Monica and Chandler.
We were on a break.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like I like Ross, but no, you can't sleep with someone else if you're not officially broken up with them yet. Like, a break just means we need to figure things out, but it still means you're together. So no, Ross. That if you were on a break, but it doesn't matter. That's still. Anyways, on that note, just because he's a paleontologist doesn't mean I should defend him at all costs.
Well, that's good. We can be humble here.
I have standards. A random one. I like from the always hilarious Monkey Island video games. They're these point-and-click adventure games. It's like a sillier Pirates of the Caribbean. There's this pirate couple, Guybrush Threepwood and Elaine. I forgot what her maiden name is, but she eventually marries him. They're adorable and they're so goofy. Like Guybrush calls Elaine Plunder Bunny, and Elaine is delightfully snarky. Like there's this scene where like the main villain, LeChuck, who's like a voodoo pirate who wants to take over the Caribbean or whatever, and he's, of course, in a typical sort of thing, he wants to marry Elaine instead, and he's like, says to her once, "Sail with me and I'll make you the queen of the dead," and then Elaine's like, I can't, I'm washing my hair tonight. Or like, you're a mean, ruthless supervillain who wants to take over the world, and that's just not what I'm looking for in a relationship right now.
Hey, at least she knows what she's looking for.
Yeah, I just think that's so funny. Like, she doesn't take him seriously. It's not like she's not just saying go away. She's just being snarky about it. It's great.
I mean, it's good. You have to be able to poke fun at somebody.
Right. Well, like in one of the later games, it was like a sort of a finale of it all. It looked like that she had actually left Guybrush for LeChuck. Like he found LeChuck with Elaine at his side, but Guybrush knew that there was a plan. Like he trusted her, and he was right. Like she was doing it to let his guard down, and then they did some other plan. So other people were like, oh no, Guybrush, and he had his faith in her. So that's kind of nice to see.
Well, I think that's something that should be the foundation of every relationship. I mean, and that's definitely something an author can play with, is that issue of trust.
Right. Because, like, I'm super paranoid. Like, I've always been paranoid. And so if I saw something like that, it would take a lot from me. I mean, I would like to think that I trust them, but at the same time be like, oh, but what if?
Well, I think it might freak out a lot of people.
Right.
See something like that, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, those are some of my favorites. I'm trying to think if there's another one. Those are the ones I wrote down. I don't know. I like couples that are cute. Like they're not just good for each other. They're also like cute. Like I guess like in Monsters Inc., Mike Wazowski and Celia, whatever her last name is.
Well, they're adorable.
Smoochy Poo, Googly Bear. It's so sickeningly sweet.
It is. It kind of makes you want to throw up in your mouth a little bit, but I mean, it's Disney, so you deal with it.
Right.
You like it anyway.
It's just funny because they're these horrific-looking monsters, but they just have these cutesy names for each other. Like at one point, when one of the CDA agents escorts her away, and Mike's like, "Hey, keep your hands off my Swoopsy Poo." Why am I so popular? Hold on a second. Hello?
Hey, sorry I missed you this morning. I just looked at that phone.
Okay, no worries. Hey, hold on a second. Hey, Christina and I are recording a episode of the Writ. This is Matt David, everyone. Say hi.
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 All right, that was Matt David, everyone. I'm just.
I'm sorry. Did I call you while you were recording?
Yes, you did.
But no
I
need
figured it
to.
was either that or you were at work or something. Anyway.
No need to apologize. We enjoy it anyway.
So okay.
Hey, I get to participate.
Hey, so who's your favorite couple in what's one of your favorite couples in a romance? Like we had to re-record this one.
You had to re-record it.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite couples.
I can edit out your thinking about it too.
Yeah, I was about to say you're gonna have to give me some time here. Just so you have some kind of a baseline. What series have you mentioned already?
We've mentioned Jim and Pam from The Office, Chandler and Monica from Friends, Outlander, and one from the Monkey Island video games that I like.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll go for book then, somewhere along the way. I just need to find a good one.
This is quality content, listeners.
I'm interested to see what he says.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Harry and Ginny.
Oh, yeah. That's a good example. It starts
I
off...
was thinking about Ron and Hermione, but, we found out that, J.K. Rowling originally was going to put Harry and Hermione together, which honestly makes a bit more sense. And yet, because the way she ended up doing it, they were all one big happy family.
Right, well,
but no, that couple and their relationship and how it evolves as Harry meets her, and she's absolutely, like, unable to speak in his presence, and then eventually they end up getting married.
Well, like, it starts off as, like, a typical teenage crush where, like, they get nervous around each other and they're unable to speak, but then as they mature, yeah, it gets better.
And then later on, when he realizes that he does have that affection for her, he gets jealous about her other boyfriends, which is totally a natural thing.
Especially for teenagers,
quite frankly, I don't know if we see that enough in main protagonist characters, so...
controversial,
I'll go with that.
Controversial take here. While I don't think Harry and Hermione work together just because they're too close, like sibling-wise, I don't buy Ron and Hermione either.
What? I really like them.
I just don't. I don't think that. I think they're too different.
Well, I kind of like to see like the underdog guy get the girl.
I'm with Donald on this one. Honestly, it's one of those things that you think they probably wouldn't stay together for too long, except for the neat parallels that it presents.
Right.
That, both of the other main characters marry into the Weasley family. That, Ron and Hermione, I think she kind of went back on her original plan just to make it have a neat ending, but I think later on, somewhere, like maybe it was Pottermore or something, that she said Hermione probably would divorce Ron at some point.
Well, knowing her, she'll say on Twitter whether or not that happened or not.
No, I think she literally did.
No, I know, but like what?
Like somebody asked about would Ron and Hermione really stay together, and I think that was her response to it. So
Okay.
I don't recall. You'd have to look it up.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like she'll say
go ahead and do that.
She'll say definitively, like, oh, on this day, Ron and Hermione filled out the divorce papers.
When exactly the divorce filings went through, right?
And who gets custody of which kid? Because they each.
Well, and the other argument is that because they did have children, that maybe their relationship was kind of repaired. I mean, I can't speak to too many real-life examples, but I do know that parents typically try to pull things together for their kids, unless it's absolutely untenable.
Right. Well, then I guess they're good enough friends. They'll probably work it out then.
Yeah, hopefully. One big happy Weasley family.
Yep. Anyways, that was Matt David, everybody. So, okay, so...
And segue.
So, how do I segue from that to this?
Very carefully.
Okay. Oh no, I got it. So that was Matt. He just got a hold of us. If you listeners would like to get a hold of us, you can contact us at Matt D. Maybe. Oh wait, I'm gonna ruin it because I'm like. Should I say? Is there anything else we need to talk about romance?
Well, I don't know. I think we pretty well summed it up.
Yeah. We've talked about everything there possibly is to know about romance. Everything. We've
comprehensive.
Got this all figured out. Like, people spend thousands of years trying to define what romance is.
They just need to pull up this podcast and just give it a listen.
We've got it, listeners. We've totally got it. But yeah, so if you want to... So, okay, I'm going to put this back in. So, Matt David there just contacted us. If you would like to contact us, listeners, hopefully not by phone...
Yeah, that could be a little awkward. I'd be wondering how you got my phone number.
Yeah,
I'm slightly
exactly.
creeped out.
Contact us at Matt D with 2 T's at MatthewDonaldCreator.com for any general questions to either co-host. I guess, you can contact Christina through that too if you want, if you have anything.
Yeah, nobody's ever contacted me from there before,
well,
so you totally should.
Yeah. So,
I feel left out. Come on, listeners.
Come on, people. She's nice. She doesn't bite much. So, but yeah, if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at MatthewDonaldCreator on Facebook, at MatthewDonald64 on Twitter, and MatthewDonald64 on Instagram. Why 64? Because I'm a mysterious man with an unmemorable past and inevitably bleak future, but my present is totally straightforward.
And you can find me on Facebook with Christina Eilert. I think there's only 2 of us. The other one's in Germany. Ooh. Don't try to add her. I tried to add her. She did not appreciate it.
Mean.
So
okay.
I don't know of her personal character, but I don't think she's going to add you.
Okay.
Well. And you can actually find me on Instagram. I don't remember my Instagram account.
It's like Beetle something.
Super Beetle, the Super Beetle Lover, or something of that sort.
And,
Let me find
and you
out.
mean the car, right?
Yes,
you don't
Super
mean...
Beetle Lover with 2 E's, TLE Lover.
Nice.
Yep, not the animal, the car.
Yeah, the animal's a little gross.
That would be kind of creepy. Yeah.
Well, if you loved beetles,
you could
be an entomologist.
I could, but I'm not. Mm-hmm. So.
Like Creepy Crawley like Dr. Crawley from Big Bang Theory.
You could.
What was it? Like, what? You're trying to measure... I haven't even packed yet. And you're trying to measure my lab for one of your godless laser machines.
In case you wondered if we like Big Bang Theory or not.
We do.
We do.
Okay, so anyway, that's it for romance. I'm Matt Donald. I was about to say Matt David there.
And I'm Christina Eilert. Thank you for listening.
Yes, have a great day. The Writ Yeah, there we go.